Hi, friends. Welcome back to Cultivating Clarity. My name is Amy Deitemeyer, and I'm a clarity coach, which means I help women embrace self awareness, confidence, and freedom. On this channel, I address issues common to women and provide insight on how to grow through that. Today, we're going to talk about body positivity and self love. I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that there's a huge societal impact on our body image and our self esteem. We live in a world obsessed with filters and flawless facades. We base our worth on what we look like. I know for myself, I grew up thinking that if I wasn't blonde enough or slim enough, that I wasn't worthy of love. I never had that expectation of anyone else. And I never based my love for anyone else on those parameters. But for myself, that's all I saw until one day a coach questioned me about it. And I find in my coaching sessions, that's very common for us to have a picture that we're still holding on to, but we've been holding on to it for so long that we really don't remember where it came from. And we're not sure why we still have that. I have been rewatching on one of the streaming platforms a popular show from the 90s. And when you look back there, there's so much fat shaming. So if you're around my age and you grew up at that time or before, you definitely grew up with diet culture and fat shaming from all over the place. And it's really easy for us to base our self-worth on what we see in the mirror. So how do we break free from that Photoshop prison, that unrealistic expectation? Well, we're going to talk about embracing and celebrating individual beauty and uniqueness and how to do that. Okay. So I have 4 tips for you. First of all, is to show up real as much as possible. The more often you show up as your authentic self, and there's a great response to it, the more confidence you gain in the fact that you are enough just as you are. So show up real as much as possible, whether that's in real life or social media. It's really easy to see social media and only see the highlight reels. I try to still post embarrassing things about myself because I think it's really important to just always be real. Number 2, recognize that beauty is diverse and not confined to the social norms that we have constructed. That will help you just to really embrace that authenticity and an empowering self-image. And here's an example for you. So, oftentimes in the United States, we view men wearing dresses or skirts as just way out of the social norm. A lot of people feel like it's unacceptable. If you go to a different country, it's totally normal, completely acceptable, and encouraged. So, just because something is different or outside of the norm doesn't mean that it's wrong. And I think for myself, especially because I grew up expecting myself to be a certain weight and to be a certain blondness, that I really thought those people were more beautiful. Well, I never consciously thought that. But when the coach questioned me on that, I got to thinking, well, that's not actually true. I've got lots of friends who don't look like that, and I love them. I don't base how I feel about them on how they look. So why am I expecting other people to do that for me? Why am I doing that to myself? So really think about and notice other people's beauty and unique features. Number three is to think beyond those looks. The more that we focus on inner strengths and the resilience that a person has and personal growth, you really grab a genuine sense of confidence. So look beyond that for other people, look beyond that for yourself. And number four, it's very similar, but begin looking around to notice how others are beautiful and unique. And this helps you to spot it more easily within yourself. So when I started looking at body types or hair colors that were different and unique and just outside of what I thought was normal for myself, I began noticing, oh, her smile is really beautiful. Her confidence is really beautiful. I love how self-aware she is. Just those little things. And that opened my eyes to other things that are beautiful and gave me permission to also feel those things about myself. So, how do we promote self-love through the day, through our lives? A great way to do that is body positive affirmations. And I heard so much training on affirmations that it can sometimes be very overwhelming on how to create your own. There are trainings about how to make an affirmation instead of an affirmation and how to rephrase things. We're going to keep it super simple today. I made a list of 6 that I'm just going to gift to you, and you can take one of those. Or if you prefer, you can take one of those or a couple of those and combine them together to create your own, change some wording. Really learning to thank and appreciate your body is very, very helpful in building your positive body image. Do I love that my stomach is bigger than I want it to be? No. Did it grow 3 healthy, beautiful children? Yes. There are things that I don't love about myself, but I think, thank you, legs, even though maybe you're a little meatier than I would like. Thank you for allowing me to walk. Thank you for allowing me to get up out of bed. When you start, and I know it might sound cheesy to you because when I first heard this, I was like, that's crazy. But it just really, really helps to appreciate your body the more that you practice. Okay, so here are the 6 that I came up with. And again, these are examples. You can grab one and use it, or you can make your own. So, number 1, I'm grateful for my body and all it does to support me. My worth is not determined by my appearance, but by the kindness and love I show to myself and others. My body is strong, resilient, and worthy of love and care. Every part of me is deserving of love and acceptance. I embrace the natural diversity of body shapes and sizes. My self-worth is not defined by society's standards. I am enough just as I am. So once you have the affirmation that you really love, whether it's borrowing one of mine, combining some of mine, or creating your own, pick one or maybe 2 and write it down 3 to 5 times. Write it on a Post-it note or an index card, an 8 by 10 piece of paper, however you want to do it. Write that down and then post it around your house so that you can continue to remind yourself of that body positivity and help your brain start to think a new thought. I wanted to close today with a very impactful quote from the Barbie movie. It's a really amazing speech given by America Ferrera's character. So I'm just going to read it so I don't slaughter it at all. It's really beautiful. She says, "It's literally impossible to be a woman. You're so beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like we always have to be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. You have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. But always stand out and always be grateful. Never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory. And nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. The movie is very much about embracing your own unique gifts, the way that you look, and your power, because we don't have to shrink and we don't have to criticize each other and we don't have to feel less than someone else. You are gorgeous inside, out, and the things that you struggle with are normal. You're never alone. And sometimes this just feels lonely. So I want to remind you that you are enough just as you are, my friend. My prayer is that you take these words to heart, put effort into affirming yourself often, and create true body positivity and really deep self-love. That's why I'm here, to continue to encourage you to do that. I love you, and I'm wishing you a week filled with flourishing moments, thriving confidence, and the healthful vigor you deserve. See you next week.